Hey guys.
Hey,
Hi there.
Maybell, are you able to hear us? You're on mute. So I'm not sure if you are with us. Jen, do you know from which organization Maybell?
Nope. That name does not ring a bell, but I sent it to the people from First Parish. I think it was Marianne McGowan and I'm drawing a blank on the other person, but they've been on our email chains. Maybell's not a name that I recognize.
Okay. So how are you guys feeling about where it sounds like there are a lot of different pieces happening from various organizations in town? We just need to coordinate with everybody, right? I mean, I feel like the community ed piece is already in place. They're already getting that. That's a done deal. So in terms of what we want to do as far as ramping up to that, if we could coordinate with other organizations, I think that would be great. But Jen, have you gotten any more feedback other than what has been circulated?
No, not at all. Like I mentioned to you, it's in like the Real Coalition newsletter that the Real Coalition is collaborating with NHRC to do this. So I was hoping that meant that we were on somebody's radar. Both Mary Lammy and Diane Simmons from the Real Coalition said that they wanted to talk, because I spoke to them after the meeting a couple weeks ago.
Right.
But I haven't been able to get any response back. So I'm not sure. I mean, I know that they're ridiculously busy, so it probably hasn't gotten to their front burner, but we are definitely running out of clock in terms of doing something this school year. So I don't know if maybe do you, Tina, or Bud, do one of you guys want to be the one to send the next email to them? Maybe they will, seeing a different name, will prompt a response.
I'd be happy to do it, but Tina, I think you being the chair might be more powerful, to be honest. I don't want to put more on your plate, but coming from the chair, I think might have some clout.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind doing that. What also might be helpful is if we had a few ideas of things that we, sent them, instead of just sending, we're thinking about doing this. What do you think? Or do you want to collaborate? Maybe we could come up with a short list of potential ideas just to get the conversation rolling.
So I think that we had talked to them at one point about trying to bring in somebody that could talk from like the broader state of Massachusetts perspective about let me back up. Like to have somebody who was just kind of a general CRT expert that could talk about what it is, what it isn't, and then bringing in somebody that could talk about how the state education system is dealing with CRT, because there were some statements put out, one by the superintendents, like the Mass Superintendents Organization, and then I don't know if it was DESE, but it was like, it could have been DESE, like the state agency that oversees all of the school districts. I think also put out a statement about what CRT and what it is and what it wasn't. And then kind of the third layer to this was what's happening in Needham, because originally I think they were trying to really differentiate what is happening to what we think of when we think of CRT, but I was getting the impression that they are not as afraid to have people drawing the connections between CRT and what they're doing locally in Needham.
So not, sorry, so not really, so spinning it into something else, meaning not dealing directly with CRT. Is that what you're saying?
I think originally that was like my conversation with, I think it was Terry Duggan, was like that they seemed to be not wanting to like draw the connection between CRT and what was happening in Needham.
Because it's too controversial?
I think so. That was the impression I got. But I think that that opinion has changed since then. Because I think from what I understood from Mary Lammy, that maybe they did some in-house work on it, like speaking to an expert or something. And so I think that they were less afraid to link the two. And again, like that they were interested in trying to educate the community about what was happening here in Needham.
So kind of similar to what we're doing with the policing event. We're like looking at it from a national broad perspective, and then drilling down to Mass. And then what does that mean for Needham, or what does that look like in Needham? Does that am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so we need,
and I think that Mary might have some like people that the school district has already spoken to that, like, you know, could be like a shortcut for us to trying to get some speakers, I think.
Okay.
They've already kind of been vetted by, you know, NPS. So I think that would help us pull something together.
Okay. And
if they would just respond.
Yeah. Do we want to try, and do you guys feel like, well, I guess it depends on what kind of, if we can get an answer within the next week or so. That I guess that will determine whether or not it's too ambitious to try to pull this together before the school year is out, or if we want to buy us some more time, maybe in the meantime, send out maybe like a summer reading list or something like that, have the event a little bit before the NCE educational piece kicks off, or even after that as a follow-up to that.
Yeah, that could be really good.
Okay.
Could be really good. Yeah, maybe even as a really, you know, plan D, whatever we're up to, because I think that the event that they're doing with NCE is really like a CRT 101.
Yeah.
So maybe we could focus on doing an event that just talked about what's happening in Massachusetts, what's happening in Needham.
Okay.
I mean, I really would have loved to have seen us do something in the spring, because it just is all over the news everywhere right now.
Okay, so I think that could be an alternative plan if we're finding like we can't pull this together in time. Does that sound reasonable to you guys?
Yes. And I'm reaching out to get more information about this April 5th. You know, I sent you both information from Temple Beth Elohim with the 1619 project, the book, and there's this professor at Emmanuel who's going to discuss you know, critical race theory and the current debate it's provoked. So I'm going to attend that, and maybe I can get some more information then and see if it would be applicable to some of the things we're talking about.
That sounds great. And maybe even there might be an opportunity for speakers there too.
Right. And if it's on Zoom, I will let the two of you know if you want to, you know, tune in.
Okay.
Because you have nothing else on your plate, right?
No, yeah.
There was an event that I think maybe First Parish did a couple weeks ago. They called it like a teach-in. I'm going to say it might have been about what's going on in Ukraine. But I might be getting it confused with something else. But I loved the way that they talked about it, the way they marketed it as a teach-in. It just felt like a very nice way to say, like, come and learn without calling it like a training or like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I like that as well.
I thought it was a really nice lens to put on it.
Yes, good terminology, certainly.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think that the first thing is trying to figure out if the school has any bandwidth for this at all right now. I mean, they put it out in the newsletter, so I feel like that should mean that somebody's going to be working on this. But
yeah,
you know, and maybe if we can get them on board, we can circle back with the first parish people and, you know, go to them with a more kind of detailed plan and ask them if they want to participate at that point.
okay. So why don't I'll shoot an email over to those guys, to Mary, and just explain what we're thinking right now. It's going to be more of a speaking event. You know, obviously there will be time for Q&A, but we're going from national drilling all the way down to how that's affecting Needham.
Yes.
And then we can go from there and see what they say.
I think that'd be great.
Perfect.
That'd be great. And I think you're right, Tina. I think if we can't nail them down this week with even a reply, at least say, yes, we do want to talk about this, then maybe we do just punt it to the fall. So that
so we either
crazy.
Right, ramp up to the NCE, or we follow them after they sort of lay out the national picture.
I think that's a great plan.
Makes a lot of sense.
And then Bud, you'll follow up with, if I'm going to try to attend, but you'll follow up with the April 5th stuff.
Yes. Yep. I definitely will.
Okie dokes.
Excellent.
Anything else?
Super productive meeting. I'm really sorry that I'm doing it in the car.
Okay,
on with our busy lives.
Crazy.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Are you feeling better? Are you feeling better, Tina?
A million times better.
Great. Super.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Have a good evening. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.